La Renaissance played out over the new Suez Stadium speakers for that Le Lion Rouge of Senegal, which was indeed sung out by Les Lionceaux, the Red Lion, sung by the Lion Cubs in English, who will be roaring come the final whistle here in Suez. Well, here are the 11 Lion Cubs chosen by Senegal U20. It is Mohamed Sissoko between the sticks, a back four of Traoré, Konate, Diouf and Diallo. Three in midfield, Dion, Dorival and Thiam. Mama Faye and Clayton Silverio Diandi will support Ibrahima Dieng in the attacking trio of a 4-3-3 for this Senegal under-20 side. Two captains will meet in the middle with Shahenda Saad El Magabi. Yeah, 33-year-old Egyptian has overseen some pretty big games in her burgeoning career. Some in the Under-20 Women's World Cup, the Women's Champions League and the Egyptian Premier League. She will be supported by those in the VAR office for any particularly contentious decisions that may have to be made. Mahmoud Ashur, the main man, watching on from one of the most important rooms in the stadium. It was Serena Falou-Diouf with the armband for the CAR. Ronaldo Zay is the man, the captaincy for this CAR 11. Boanaj Malimoto, the goalkeeper, with Yangba Biakolo, Ondobo and Yakoma Zakabomada in the back four. Idaro and Nganza, the double pivot in midfield. And Zay is joined by Baptiste Kelala and Landry Sungi, supporting Lefort Cosina at the top of the tree. Here comes the countdown. So the referee blows the whistle and away we go in Suez. The away side gets us underway. Match day one in this year's Total Energies CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. Reigning champions Senegal take on the Central African Republic in Group C's very first match. Senegal in their traditional white with the green, yellow and red trim.
Tell you what's up, no good in done. You're a fool, I cry about Charlie. I tell you what's up, enjoy the ride.
The CAR in their traditional blue, with some defending to do here in the first minute. Chik Thiam looking for the 1-2 with Mama Faye, who's on the left wing in the official team sheet, but seems to have started the game on the right. Quite often we'll see wingers interchanging over the course of the 90 minutes to keep the fullbacks guessing. Let's see if that's the case here. Pierre Dorival wins the free kick just at the edge of his own half. Leon youngster has been nicknamed the Camavinga of OL. And his current club in France, Lyon, battling for the UEFA Champions League spots at the top of the French top flight. And Dorival impressing in the OL Academy. Big name to live up to, Camavinga of Lyon. Of course, Camavinga, Eduardo Camavinga, now of Real Madrid and the French national side. Similar traits for the two Tenacious defensive midfielder, Dorival. Had steel and structure to the midfield. He, though, will be one of those battling on the edge of the CAR box here. This free kick is set to be put in by Diandi. Oh, missed by everyone. There's a battle going on there on the far side. Look to the referee from young Senegalese, but appeared to be enough there to force her hand. Force a decision. Not enough for a penalty. Even more so in this early stage. To see referees try and let the game flow in the early moments, keep things cool, calm and collected as long as possible. Diandi didn't want to get his boot on that, but couldn't divert it to Lassana Traoré, the Senegal left back. Turns 18 on Tuesday, looking for an early birthday present here. All 3 points. One in midfield by Lionceau. A breakaway here. Here's Mama Faye again. Has options in the middle. Looks for the killer pullback, but just delayed a little too long perhaps there. Could only find a CAR defender. Side in blue try to play their way out from the back, but find a wall of white in front of them. Had to really break forwards into the Senegal half with any purpose. As we head towards the 5-minute mark, we'll be on the defensive again here. Faye keeps it in. Again finds a defender. That one was trickier though. Harriet Mondobo doing enough. Again, CAR failed to play it out from the back. Comes straight back into their area. Malamoto couldn't get that one totally under his spell, but it set away a counter of sorts, and Senegalese captain Diouf forced the backtrack, got there first and ultimately won the free kick. That moment just before, the most commanding taking the ball, but did the job. Player lurking either side of him. Follow along with the hashtag Total Energies AFCON U20. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering on, what you've made of the first 5 minutes here. Another decision goes the way of Les Lionceaux. Senegal play it out slowly, taking their time. No hurry for now. They'll pick their moment though. And Faye with the interchange with Diallo. Didn't quite come off, and this will be the biggest danger for the reigning champions. The Central African counter. They have some speed in their team, but no slouches either in the Senegal backline. Diouf has shown that already. Plenty of pace for the 18-year-old, part of the Génération Foot Academy. Génération Foot in a partnership with FC Metz in the French league. Partnership has been going on for over 20 years now. Started in 2003 by President Carlo Molinari, and extended just over a year ago for another 5. Will keep the two clubs linked through to 2033. Papa Dauda Diong just catching that one all wrong. Half chance comes and goes for Senegal Dia's side. Going back to that partnership between Génération Foot and Metz, some big names have come through the ranks. Mark the first years of that collaboration. Emmanuel Adebayor, Papi Cissé, Sadio Mane. In more recent years, players including Ismaila Sarr taking their first steps in Europe via that link. Metz having dropped down to the 2nd division in France, but one of the potentials for promotion this late in the season. There are a couple of players in the Senegal backline who are part of that Génération Foot Academy. Captain Diouf, also Ibrahima Diallo alongside him. So know each other well, those two. Diallo just 17 years of age, youngest player in the Senegal 11. Ousmane Konaté, his fellow defender there, trucked rather by the corner flag. Doing a decent job to hold off the close attention to the CAR captain. Wonderfully named Ronaldo Lebronze. Two pretty iconic names in sport. Him to match up to, and he does have the number 7 of CR7 on his back, as well as his surname as his first name. Can he produce a performance befitting of one of the greatest ever football players across 2 or 3 weeks here in Egypt? Plenty of talent on both benches, set to feature at some point later on. Two head coaches will hope that it's not a case of an early substitution in force. That was the case yesterday for Morocco. A couple of injuries. Their match against Kenya on match day 1. Ultimately a 3-2 win for the Moroccan side. Nasser Zabiri, in the process of scoring a second, was forced off the pitch. But a reminder to try and, well, not take things easy, but not take too many risks so early into this campaign. Make sure to keep a level head, go through the motions, follow the game plan supplied by your head coach, and keep the excitement and any nerves under control. There is Diallo, knocks it on for Tia. Get there, delivered in with his first touch. Yet to find a player in white with their deliveries. Senegal, but they are getting into good positions. Just need to improve the final ball. Challenge, one which could have a big impact here. Senegal have players over. It'll be Faye to run at the defence, lays it off for Diallo. Straight into the gloves of Malimoto. Well claimed this time. And the young Central African keeper really looks to set away as centre forward. And the Focusina, this time, unable to get on the end of that long ball. Senegal featuring in their 7th finals of the Under-20 AFCON. Eliminated in the group stages in their first 2 participations in 93 and 95, but have since reached the final in their last 4 appearances. And of course, the defending champions 2 years ago topped their group. A group also containing the mighty Nigeria, beating the Flying Eagles on match day 1 on that occasion. And 1-0 against Benin in the quarterfinals, 3-0 win over Tunisia in the semis, and a 2-0 win against Gambia in the final. Didn't concede a single goal en route to that title, scoring 14 in their 6 games. Pretty much perfect record. And they'll look to continue on here. Largely different group of players, though, of course. There's some defending here to do. This new crop against Ronaldo Zay. Looking to cause him trouble on the right wing. 2 for company. Does well to hold on to the ball. And there was a lash out as well from a frustrated Benjamin Idaro. It's that collision with Sheikh Tiam. Certainly had a hold of his opposite number there. Sheikh Tiam prevented Idara getting onto the ball. Spotted by the referee, and a first free kick in a truly dangerous position here for the CAR. As we tick past the quarter-hour mark. 3 in the wall. The captain. Kilala to take. It is the left foot of Kilala. It was an attempt on goal, but well over in the end. Just not the required dip on the ball. The 17-year-old. That's one back. Deep inside the Senegal half. Kenati getting a foot to the ball. Out for a throw. This is a better spell, though, for the CAR. See how much Senegal dominated the early stages there. 73% of possession in the first 15. It's a CAR having a foothold in the game here and trying to snatch one against what has been the run of play. Kilala sent in towards the head of Lefort-Cassina. Beaten to it by Diouf. Nice change of direction and an equally nice drop of the shoulder there from Sheikh Tiam. And again, Senegal failed to get it out of their own half. Sungi just beaten to the ball. However, by Papa Dauda Diong. welcome relief, to be honest, for Les Lionceaux. That's the way the last few minutes have gone. Getting some territory back. Not the best piece of distribution from Malamoto, but wasn't too far off his goal line to tempt anyone into an opportunistic effort from near the halfway line. And that's also late. Looked perhaps a little vindictive there. Challenge on Senegalese captain from La Forcasina will earn him at least a word in his ear from the referee. Stretcher is called for Diouf. No attempts at the ball. He's left the Senegalese captain in a fair bit of pain, it would appear. Plenty of instructions passed on by Bruce Stéphane Abdoulaye, the CAR head coach, appointed head of the CAR under-20 team last July, replacing Sébastien Ngato, who was promoted to the senior team, so holds the responsibility of leading the Central African juniors in this continental event. Former defender in his playing days, 42-year-old, spent most of his career in France, teams such as Grenoble, Clermont, Orléans and the aforementioned Metz. He's spent much of his coaching career in France as well, since turning his attention to coaching just over a decade ago. Then taking the role of the head coach of the CAR A team for the African Nations Championship, before being entrusted with this new responsibility last summer. Reaching the finals was an achievement in itself, whether or not it was done initially on the pitch. Here though, a new challenge, and one which could prove tougher still, as they thoroughly put on the back foot by Senegal straight after the restart. Pierre Dorival unmarked at the edge of the box. He should have done better. It was good work from Yakoma Zakamamada. Get in the way of the shot. Set back in at the back post by Diouf, who seems to be moving fine now after a couple of minutes recovery. Dorival is the latest bundled over by a player in blue, Baptiste Kilala, this time the guilty party. And see where the comparisons with Camavinga come from. Moves similarly with the ball. Of course, the similar haircut doesn't hurt. That, though, not a delivery. His Real Madrid namesake would be that proud of. Straight to Malamoto. Flicked on by Kilala. CAR can work their way back up the pitch. Throw here on the edge of the final third. Came off Kilala. Now the last will be a Senegal throw. Yes, this is just the third appearance for the CAR at the AFCON Under-20 finals. Third in a row, though. Participated in 2021 and 23. Back in the early 80s, did feature in the qualifying round in a different format, but finally made it to the finals in 2021. Les Fauves, or the Wild Beasts in English, made sure to make the most of that opportunity. 1-1 draw in their first ever match. Was followed up by a loss to Burkina Faso, but a crucial 2-1 win over Tunisia, featuring 2 goals in just over a minute, saw them through to the knockout rounds. He did unfortunately fall out the quarter-final stage to Gambia, with a very respectable first appearance. He couldn't carry that momentum into 2023, though. Finished bottom of the group with just a single point, having scored just a single goal. Looking to bounce back here, back in Egypt for the second time in a row. Hosting duties were, of course, originally handed out to the Côte d'Ivoire, but just over a month ago, withdrawing as hosts, and thus forfeiting their automatic qualification spot. Egypt chosen as the replacement, having previously submitted a bid during the initial bidding process. Wonderful hosts the Egyptians have been once again in the early days of this latest edition of the biennial Youth AFCON tournament. 25th edition in all, 18th with a host country. Of course, also serves as the qualifiers for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. 4 semi-finalists will also earn themselves a spot as the CAF representatives for the 2025 Under-20 World Cup in Chile this September and October. Reigning champions Uruguay couldn't defend their title. Won't have a chance to if they finish 5th in the 2025 South American Under-20 Championship. Mohamed Sissoko takes a risk there. He gets away with a brave piece of keeping from the 20-year-old, one of the oldest in the tournament, born on the 21st of January, just 3 weeks after the cut-off, the 1st of January 2005 rather. There was that drop of the shoulder from the 20-year-old keeper. Senegal quickly down the other end, winning a free kick. Position you'd expect this to threaten. Over a quarter of the game gone now. Still, we await the first goal. It's into a good area. It was onto the head of Serigne Fallou Diouf. He claims a deflection. He won't get the corner. Was one of the better deliveries from their early set pieces for this young Senegal side. To see from this angle, it did look like there might have been a case there for the corner. Certainly, Dia looking a little frustrated one way or another. It's the 3 shots so far in little under half an hour's action. two CAR defenders getting in each other's way there. Might be punished in it. One or two calls for handball there. That was charged down bravely by, I think it was Abdius Youngba, but referee not interested. VAR can, of course, check moments like that. See whether it might be worth a second viewing for the referee. Momentum has rather swung back in Senegal's direction and opened up for the shots from Mamafaye, and well, striking the woodwork, but that only via the advertising hoardings behind the goal. We see that moment just before, and it did seem to strike the arm. Is there a delay here as VAR looks at that? It seems just making clear what she expects from the players here. So they jostle and bustle in the box. It'll be Clayton Severio Diandi to take the corner. Queue of players. Head past the penalty spot. It was over all of them. Again, headed wide. And this time by Ousmane Konate, the other Senegalese centre-back. Fair way out, but a free header. Another half chance for the reigning champions to get their title defence up and running. See the frustration there from Serine Saliou Dia. By the time we return to the action, we were right on the edge of the CAR area again. Tony Biacolo and co have been busy in the opening half an hour, but are thus far holding firm. It's a decent piece of defending from centre-back, but ultimately offside flag up either way against Senegal. Previously had always been the bridesmaid, never the bride on this stage, Senegal. For that title 2 years ago, with 3 times. 2015 as hosts, 2017 and 2019. On home soil, it was a 1-0 loss to 7-time champions Nigeria in the final. 2017, 2-0 loss to Zambia. 2019, already painful third successive defeat in the final, made even more painful as they lost to Mali via a penalty shootout. So a real feel-good winner 2 years ago, and with a very impressive set of players. Papa Diop, who's currently playing in Belgium for Zulte Waregem, as the top scorer in the competition with 5 goals. Lamine Camara, now of Monaco in Liga, another battling for UEFA Champions League spots alongside Lyon. Won the Best Player award, and Landing Badji the Best Goalkeeper. Yes, so we see a shot of Bruce Stéphane Abdoulaye. This man now on your screen, Saliou Dia, referred to that ever-changing pool of players for these kind of competitions. He said we've lost about 50 to 60% of our championship winning team. The country has an impressive pool of talent. We now need to rebuild a solid and competitive squad. Many are waiting for us to slip up, but we must stay humble and work hard. What matters is what we show on the field. Certainly no shortage of humility thus far. Not taking anything for granted against one of the tournament's underdogs. Yet to find a way through stubborn Central African backline. Issue here for Boanaj Malimoto. Gloves off, boots off. Chance to take on a bit of hydration on the sidelines. That was the deflected effort from Mamafaye. He's been busy in this first half. Plays his club football in Turkey for Erokspor. Impressive season thus far. 5 goals in 23 appearances for the 19-year-old. Starting to make a name for himself in Europe, as so many have done, following impressive showings in this tournament in the past. Always been a window into the future of African football, the under-20 AFCON. Extraordinary talents, first capturing continental and then world attention. Plenty who have dazzled in the past. Yaya Toure winning the Best Player Award back in 2003. For him, Michael Essien. Now this current crop look to make their name. Ball into the box was cleared away. Remains with Senegal. Diong back out to Diallo. Diong thinking about floating it in early. Once again comes back to the number 6. Change of direction from Diallo with 2 or 3 defenders in front of him. No way through. Senegal forced all the way back to Sissoko. He handed possession over. Well, he should have handed possession to the CAR, but just dawdling on the ball a little here. Bailed out by his defenders there. That was a little sluggish from Yangba. Will be a test of the stamina of these CAR players. Have to do a lot of running. Always the way of the team without the ball. Senegal with almost 3/4 of the possession thus far. And the ball into the box, but another ultimately disappointing one. Ronaldo Zay over on the left wing. Could have sat in a costly position, but it's out for a throw. Minutes to go in this first half. Yakuma Zakabamada takes the throw, but it's going to come straight back in the direction of his own goal. Here's Tiam into the middle, onto the bar by Ibrahima Dieng. But that clearly the closest Senegal have come thus far. This time striking the woodwork for real. Not via the advertising hoardings. Well-worked move. 1-2 between the 8 and the 9. Taken first time by Dieng. Couldn't quite keep it low enough. CAR escape. Too close for comfort, certainly. Hard taskmaster that is Serigne Sariudia. Still full of constructive criticism for his players. The referee does now have a finger in our ear. Presumably VAR just checking something, but check over and we will get back underway with a CAR goal kick. piece of control from Zay, but it's given away by Junior Nganza. Continuing to dominate the ball, Senegal haven't done quite enough with it as yet. Let's reflect that in other such statistics. Do have 7 shots to the 1 of the CAR thus far, but none yet officially on target, as close as they may have come with some of those. Diouf keeping his head and finding his fellow centre-back there when he could have hoofed it into Rosette. This one back, though, by CAR. Now here's their captain. Zay runs into trouble. To run back towards his own goal. Out comes Malimoto. Crucially got there, as did Nganza. Both had to win their respective duels and did so. Surely would have been the opener if either had been beaten to the ball there. Forwards they come again, looking to turn the screw here late in the first half. Finishing it with total control. Nice idea. Playing that around in triangles, a dink through ball for Thiam. Not quite finding its target though. Colo winning another duel, albeit a far easier one than some of those he's contested in this first half. So 5 minutes remaining. Can CAR turn the tide here? Or is it a case of just trying to survive through to half-time on level terms? They've certainly not parked the bus here. It's a suitably defensive approach against the reigning champions, for a side who's only ever won 1 game at the under-20 AFCON finals. But, they're holding their own thus far. Can that continue? Lassana Traore takes his time to pick out the right pass. He found the boot of Thiam, flicked it on. The attempt was smothered and offside anyway. Still just the final ball that's not been quite good enough for Senegal. A lot of very nice build-up play. It's a tight call on the offside. Ultimately, it was dealt with by the CAR backline either way. Powerful header forwards. Well controlled by Cassina. Sungi was caught by Traore. Left back protests his innocence. Referee's mind made up. And team in blue here will have an opportunity to worry the Senegal back line. Once again, late on from a set piece in the first half. Mohamed Sissoko organising his defence. along with Nigeria, Senegal, one of 2 countries to have reached the final at 4 successive tournaments, and are aiming to become the first team to successfully defend their title since Nigeria, who won 4 in a row in the 80s. So far, not having things all their own way though here. They haven't got the best set of results in their opening game across those 6 previous appearances. 2 wins, 3 draws, 1 defeat. Sometimes started a little slowly. Although they will be disappointed with anything but a victory. Worked it forwards nicely here. Diallo forces his way past Zay into the middle. Up in the air from Idaro. Ultimately wide of the goal from Mama Faye, who also tries to claim the corner, doesn't get the decision. Good work again by the 17-year-old, number 17. That's Faye over on the left-hand side now. Perhaps should have done better, taking nothing away from Malamoto, who was quickly out to make life difficult for the forward. Did enough, whether or not there was the slightest nick. Great work from the keeper. Another one of the more experienced members of the squad, like his fellow keeper this afternoon. Just 3 months younger than Mohamed Sissoko. Turned 20 on Monday. Into the final of the first 45. Yeah, Dorival just caught there and needing a bit of help from a teammate to, it would appear, a touch of cramp brought on by that contact. He's back on his feet now. Back underway with perhaps time for one more clear-cut opportunity for Senegal. Diandi trying to nick that away, beaten to it. I'd be really disappointed to concede this late. The well-drilled CAR defence. They'll have just 2 minutes to try and survive before heading down the tunnel. Potentially on terms. It is currently there with a throw in the Senegal half. Could they even nick one here? Snatch away a lead. It's one of the final moments of the first half. Oh, no could be the answer, and it could become much worse. Importantly, cut out. Certainly looked frustrated on occasion during this first 45. Serigne Saliou Dia. See why these players haven't always been clicking. Certainly not quite as well as he'd like. Up against it here again. The final minutes of the first half. Important intervention from Kanate. That was sitting up, ready to be hit. That's probably that now for the first half. There were moments of brilliance shown by the reigning champions. And ultimately, they've been kept at bay by their much lesser fancied opponents. Referee Shahenda El Maghrabi blows for half-time here in Suez, with the score still cemented down at 0-0. Senegal with much more of the ball, far more shots, but in truth, CAR, good value for their parity that they've earned after the first 45. Our final huddle on the pitch.